Today, we're gonna talk about this iPhone 15 Pro Max. But before that, let's roll the intro. Hey, what's up? It's always me, Johnny, and welcome to my new video. Today, as I said in the intro, we're gonna talk about this iPhone 15 Pro Max. Right now, I've had it for a few weeks, and so I can say something about this iPhone 15 Pro Max, especially because the last year I've had for the entire year the 14 Pro Max that I have right here, and so I can do also a small comparison between the two. And also, if you did miss my video of performance analysis between these two devices on my channel, just check the video right here, where I compare the performance between the iPhone 15 Pro Max and the iPhone 14 Pro Max. But without further ado, let's talk about the first changes that we have on this new iPhone 15 Pro Max. So first of all, we have a new design, as Apple says. I mean, it's not entirely new, of course, because it does remind a lot of the older design, of course, of the 14 Pro Max, of the 13 Pro Max, and also the 12 Pro Max, because it's always a square phone. It is indeed very big and it is still an heavy phone. With some minor adjustment, they still got a new design on this 15 Pro Max. For example, let's talk about the smooth edges right here. They are really a small change, but they change a lot on how you feel the phone, because you can feel it. It's more comfy. It's easier to hold in your hand, especially if you have like smaller hand, or maybe the thinner bezels around the screen that are just that minor changes that you notice for the first 10 seconds and then you forget about it. But when you compare maybe with another phone, for example, my 14 Pro Max, you cannot unseen those thinner bezels. And of course, the weight of the phone, especially for people like me that had the 14 Pro Max for the entire year. When you take this 15 Pro Max, it is way lighter. I mean, not on paper, but when you feel it, it is very light compared to the 14 Pro Max. But still, as I said before, it is not a very light phone. And of course, we have the action button on the side that we all have to get used to it, but still, it is a very cool feature that we have because it is customizable. And actually, I'm learning something very interesting to customize my action button, but this will be for another video, of course. Talking about display, as I said before, we have thinner bezel, yes, but for the rest, it is pretty much identical. And in fact, we have still an OLED panel. We have still 2000 nits of maximum brightness. We have the dynamic island, same stuff every year. So pretty much the same exact display of last year 14 Pro Max. In the direct sunlight, I think it is slightly brighter, but I think it is just a subjective thing because on the paper they have pretty much the same screen. Talking about audio, they didn't mention the speaker or the audio in general in the presentation of this 15 Pro Max, but I can assure you that these speakers of this new iPhone, they are way better than my 14 Pro Max, and on the 14 Pro Max, just trust me, there are no bad speakers. So this one, it is just superior because it does go louder and also the sound is crispier. So thumbs up on the audio improvement on this new 15 Pro Max. Performance side, you already know that this A17 Bionic, it is a beast of a chip, and comparing the score, it is close to an M1 chip from the MacBooks. You can understand by yourself that it is a very powerful chip that we have on our phone. And someone says that it is more power consuming, it is more energy consuming, but of course, with more power, it comes more energy, more battery. It wasn't like that, but anyway, we can say yes and no, because of course it does have more power, but I think in proportion with the new 3nm chip, we don't have that much of a power consumption that we had in the latest chip. So pretty much we have the same proportion that we had on the 14 Pro Max, but here we have still a little bit more performance and a little bit more battery health. In fact, talking about battery, we still have a great battery on the Pro Max, because in this video I will talk about only the Pro Max because I have this model, of course. And last year I was a little bit disappointed with the 14 Pro Max battery life. I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good, because with my 13 Pro Max, the battery life was great, and on the 14 Pro Max, it wasn't good as the 13 Pro Max. But this year, I think they've just improved the battery life on this 15 Pro Max. And so, as I was saying before, I can tell that the battery life on this device, it is slightly better. Talking about the cameras, I will do, of course, a separate video on the camera. And of course, I will do a comparison with my 14 Pro Max, but still, it is a great device. I mean, one of the best that you can buy on the market at the moment, especially if you do video. We had an addition of a 5x module right there on the back, a little bit more zoom compared to the last year 3x module. Maybe for most of us, it will be a little bit too much 5x than 3x. And I was thinking the same thing, but using it over and over, I think that the 5x, it is a very, very good choice and a wise choice. And you will see it, of course, in my camera review video. But I can say that the 5x lens, it is a very, very good lens because it is very bright. So you can shoot also in the night without like very, very bad results. And of course, you can shoot in the daylight doing very, very good portraits. In conclusion, we can say that this iPhone, of course, it is a very great product. Of course, it is expensive, but still, if you buy it outside USA, it is like cheaper than the last year 256 model. If you were used to buy this smartphone right here, this year they are cheaper. They feel very, very good in our hands. And somebody says that this one should have been the 14, the real iPhone 14, because it gets everything that we asked in the iPhone 14. But still, we can say it is a great phone. And especially the USB-C addition, I think it is a very, very useful thing. It's actually shocking me every time that I have to connect my phone to the cable and it is USB-C. And you can see the iPhone connected to USB-C. It's a very, very weird thing. But anyway, you get used to it. And of course, if you have to do some data transfer on your PC, on your MacBook, it is a lot better, of course. But talking about the big problem that we have with this iPhone 15 Pro Max. So overheating issue. I am one of the few, I think, that doesn't have this problem, because in the first 2 days that I had this device, I had some overheating issue, we can say, but the device was just downloading everything, was just setting up everything. So I didn't care too much about the heat of the device. But after that, I didn't have any problem. And I did some day with stress usage. I mean, I've had some days with very strong usage of GPS, very strong usage of camera all day, and I didn't have any problem. And also the phone lasted me all day long. We have a screen right here, so you can see it by yourself. I'm not telling any lies, of course, because nobody pays me to say that. So this is the truth. And of course, we have to say that Apple just released the newest update. So the 17.0.3 that I've made a short also on my channel, so you can check it out there. And it just addresses the problem, the issue with the overheating problem that somebody have on their devices. If you have this issue, just update and let me know down below in the comments if you still have that problem. The second big problem that we have on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, it is the weak materials. If the phone just drops from your hand, it's just gonna shatter the glass in the back because of the titanium frame, because of this, because of that. There's only one thing that I can say. It is just don't drop your phone in the first place. I mean, why you have to drop your phone? It is a 1500 euros piece of electronic. Why you should drop it on the floor? And yes, I know that it can happen, but just put a case on it. I mean, they are just 5 euros on Amazon. If you take the worst case on Amazon, it's gonna be better than nothing. So buy a case and also buy a screen protector. Don't blame anyone because they made like weak phone. If it falls on the ground, it falls and it can break. So what's the big deal? I don't see any problem right here. So just don't drop your phone, please. And also, if you want to be like super sure and you don't want your phone to break, just buy that covers that you can throw your phone like from billions of meters and it doesn't shatter in 2000 pieces. So just buy one of those. It's like 30-40 euros, I don't know. Just buy one of those. What's the problem? Anyway, these were my conclusion. I hope you liked this video. Just hit a like button down below and also let me know down below in the comments if you had any problem with overheating and if you have any problem with broken iPhone 15. I hope not. But anyway, stay tuned on my channel because I will release, of course, the video on the camera test and the camera comparison against the iPhone 14 Pro and maybe some other phone, but stay tuned on my channel, subscribe down below, it's free, and you're gonna see some very good content. Anyway, as always, thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye for now.